A grand jury will hear a Knox County murder case. Hear from the victim's family. Volunteer fire departments across the region are struggling, which could delay response times. We'll break down how you can help out.
Increasing temperatures and then some storms to follow. Those details on an incoming system now at 5:30.
Dedicated to southern and eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. The case against a Michigan man charged in the death of a Knox County father is moving forward. During a court hearing, the charges against Philip Lee Lewis were waived to a grand jury. He was arrested last month in the death of Gary Medlin. Police say Lewis shot and killed him during an attempted robbery back in January. Lauren Miner talked to Medlin's family, who came face to face with Lewis today.
As Philip Lewis was called in front of a judge,
Philip Lee Lewis.
Family of Gary Medlin sat inside the courtroom wearing shirts with the hashtag Justice for Gary.
Mr. Lewis, who's here for a preliminary hearing on murder and robbery.
Lewis wasn't in court long. His case was waived to a grand jury, and the judge kept his bond at $1 million cash. Kentucky State Police say Lewis shot and killed Medlin back in January of this year. According to investigators, Medlin was a bystander during a robbery at the A&B Quick Stop convenience store. He was trying to leave when they say Lewis shot him.
He's gone, so we are here for him. We're standing in his spot.
During a jailhouse interview, Lewis claimed he is innocent and that someone is trying to frame him. Medlin's mother believes the evidence will tell a different story.
Nobody framed him, nobody nothing. He did this himself. The evidence doesn't lie that they have, and they'll find out.
Mindy Medlin, Gary's wife, says their youngest child, Jackson, will be celebrating his 3rd birthday on Sunday. Gary would also be turning 26 this Saturday.
The court and the mix of it, it's just kind of opens those wounds back up that you're trying to deal with on a daily basis, so it's just really nerve-wracking.
The family says they will continue to show up until justice is served. In Knox County, Lauren Miner, WKYT.
The grand jury will, of course, decide whether or not to indict Lewis. Today, we learned about a delay for hearing in a Whitley County double murder case. Paul Parsons was charged with the murders of Denver Nicely and Joshua Wernicke in 2017. A special prosecutor was assigned to that case in January. A hearing yesterday was delayed because that prosecutor had a trial in another county. The hearing is rescheduled for April 1st. A man is accused of taking toolboxes out of a building at Berea College. This is Gary Davidson's mugshot. Police say someone saw him carrying tools around a facilities building on Sunday. Davidson claimed he had permission to be there, but college officials say he did not. He's charged with burglary, theft, and criminal mischief.
Well, your Tuesday evening not looking too bad. Cloud cover working in, but as we take a look from our front porch, we're sitting in those mid-50s with feel-like temperatures there and your dew point in the 20s. We'll see both the dew point and temperature increase as this warm front associated with the clouds starts to work in. You can already see rain chances to the west, and most of that will work to our northeast, providing for a much warmer feel for your Wednesday as that warm front works in. It's 62 in Nashville right now, the warm sector down in Tennessee in the southeast, but that warm air will be working in. Of course, you could track the hour-by-hour forecast by downloading the WYMT weather app. Those temperatures, they'll drop as we head throughout the evening hours. By 3 o'clock, it's in the 40s, and by the time you wake up, it'll start warmer than what it did this morning with temperatures in those upper 30s. Steve will talk about that warming trend and everything you need to know coming up in a few short moments.
All right, thank you, Andrew. Throughout eastern Kentucky, many volunteer fire departments are struggling to find volunteers. WYMT's Lauren McCourt visited one Letcher County station to talk with the chief about what it takes to be a firefighter.
First word is dedicated.
That's the answer Bill Meade gave when asked to describe what it takes to be a volunteer firefighter.
The fire departments are not just fight fires. We do everything.
But now it's hard for them to do anything with the little manpower they have.
Got members that join 2 or 3 departments in order to make up a roster.
Meade has been fighting fires since 1982 and says it wasn't always like this.
Used to, we had to turn them away.
Now they're begging people to join.
We're paving the way for them so they can carry on when we're gone.
Volunteer fire stations need just 13 people on their roster to be considered a certified fire department, and finding those dedicated people has been hard.
Instead of going to the ball game tonight, we're going to the fire station.
They may not get paid a dime.
That's what it's all about, helping your neighbors, helping your community.
But the feeling you get when you help your community is priceless, not to mention the friendships that can form.
We have a lot of fun, and sometimes we cook and have big old barbecues.
In Letcher County, Lauren McCourt, WYMT Mountain News.
Meade says if anyone is interested in joining their team, you can give them a call at the Kings Creek Fire Station. 2 well-known actresses are among the 50 charged in a nationwide college cheating scam. Felicity Huffman, best known for her role in Desperate Housewives, and Lori Loughlin, who played Aunt Becky on Full House, are among dozens of parents, elite college coaches, and college prep execs being charged. The criminal complaint claims Huffman paid $15,000 to someone who controlled an SAT testing center. That person proctored her oldest daughter's exam and corrected her incorrect answers. Coaches from Yale, Stanford, USC, and Wake Forest, among others, are implicated in the case. A plane crashed into a home just outside of Cincinnati, Ohio. It happened about 10 miles northeast of the city around 4 o'clock this afternoon. There's no word yet on injuries or deaths. The Federal Aviation Administration confirmed the crash and identified the plane as a twin-engine Piper Navajo. While addressing the International Association of Firefighters today, former Vice President Joe Biden hinted at a possible 2020 presidential run. Sources close to Biden say he is close to making a final decision on whether or not to run. New polling reveals the former VP leads 2020 Democratic candidates in Iowa without even making his campaign official.
I appreciate the energy you showed when I got up here. Save it a little longer. I may need it in a few weeks.
According to multiple people familiar with Biden's planning, a formal kickoff for Biden's run is expected by mid-April. Spring break for college students is often a time to go to the beach and soak up the sun for a week, but not for a group of students from St. Joseph's University in Philadelphia. They spend their spring break here in Appalachia, serving the region. WYMT's Will Puckett met up with a group in Hazard and has more.
The sound of air guns echo through the crisp morning air.
It's not a us and them thing, we're all one person.
Sophie Talarita and a handful of her friends are out in 15 locations in Appalachia as part of their spring break.
We just get to run into a lot of community members, which is really interesting because we get to talk to them about who's been here for a while and get to understand how long people have been here and why they stay or why they leave.
This is Sophie's 4th trip to Appalachia. Her group's facilitator, Sean Linehan, is making his 6th trip to the mountains.
It's just a really cool experience every single time in different places, different states.
The purpose of the trip is to learn about the region and serve. And for both of these veterans, their answers are the same. When asked about why, they enjoy coming to the mountains.
The hospitality is a big thing. People are just super welcoming of our presence and want to learn about what we're doing and why we're here. And
how great the people are. I think that's really the coolest thing. Kind of taking a step away from the city and just really hearing the stories that we hear.
And they're stories they will likely remember throughout the rest of their lives. In Perry County, Will Puckett, WYMT Mountain News.
The group is part of the Appalachian Experience, or APEX. They will be in town through the end of the week. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, Americans have more than $1 trillion in college loan debt. A look at how students can avoid some of those costs.
Well, plenty of sunshine and warmer temperatures expected for your Wednesday and Thursday. If you're looking for the perfect day to get outside, it's coming up. We'll tell you when in a couple of minutes.
Warmer weather brings more worries. Coming up at 6, I'm Marianne Fletcher in Martin County, and I'll tell you what is concerning the sheriff.
When you see news happening, dial star 57 or text your news tip to 5757. Services provided by Appalachian Wireless. Better service, bigger savings.
We all worry when our loved ones are on the highway, and we have good reason to. Every year, thousands of people are killed and seriously injured in car and truck wrecks. The attorneys in my law firm